throughout the night. The season is underway. And it is Black coming out from the 10 with his first career Rutgers touch. He'll get stopped and stacked up right around the 27-yard line.
To come in on a new spot, new team.
It's over for Gavin Wimsett. Transferred to Kentucky. He's passing on the first play, and it's a wide open receiver. And a fresh set of downs out to Ian Strong. The sophomore takes it out. Give it to Monangai with a massive hole. And he had one man to beat. A couple of solid plays for Rutgers to start the 2024 season. Calais McManus pumps. Got some space. Now it closes and he chucks it into the sideline with a smart decision. Back to Monangai on 2nd and 10. Right into the waiting arms of Noah Miles. He picks up about 3.5, so it'll be the first third down here for Calais McManus in plus territory.
And so if you want to pick up some yards and just kind of get things going, you're going to go to Holland Pierce, number 72, the left tackle. You can watch him. He's just a big, he's 6'8". He's 330 pounds. He's come a long way. Oh, that's an excellent throw.
With the new punter, Jacob Anderson, 15 yards back. Now they shift. Anderson going to try and angle his first career college punt. And it's caught for a fair catch by Richie Ilaraza, facing a first-time career starter in Jay-Sean Scroggins, who hands it off to Jarrett Hunter. A pair of great backs for Howard. Jarrett Hunter is the MEAC preseason offensive player of the year. Scroggins left it short, and it is caught by the tight end, Nate Clark. Last year, 46% on third down. Scroggins keeps it himself and picks up the first down. Motion man is Casey Hawthorne, and he goes right to a bunch of Scarlet Knights after about 3.
I know, Larry, I think the world of him. I think he's outstanding.
Scroggins with some play action. Got hit as he threw it, looking for the tight end. And it's incomplete from Clark. Loyal. 7.5 career sacks for Lewis. Scroggins on third down. He's going to use his legs again. He does get to the outside, and a first down out to the 45-yard line. Abram Wright, the backup linebacker, who had an interception in the bowl game, made the tackle, but another first down with his legs.
Excellent job by Scroggins. So he sees it, and this is a called play, right? And so he's coming out the back end, nobody there. They're gonna have to get some eyes on him.
They'd like to get to the outside of the perimeter. That's Ilaraza, who had a big game last year. Scroggins has looked good with some easy passes. Solid tackle in open space. Play clock down to 2. And Larry Scott did a 40-yard dash to get a timeout. Didn't enjoy the petting zoo that is larger this year. More ponies. Third down and 7. Scroggins to the air. And it's intercepted. Picked off. Eric Rogers down the sideline with the convoy. Pick 6 Rutgers. That career total. Tell's extra point is up and through. And just like that, 6 minutes in, Rutgers turns the tide a little bit on this ball game. Kickoff is drilled into the end zone, so it'll come out to the 25. Best friend is back to the ground. Eden James breaks through for 1. Set in his own path, a very good running back. Scroggins trying to set up the screen. Great grab. And James takes that out past the 40. Heavy set. Montrell Walker comes in as a second tight end. Back to Eden James, and he is stacked up.
Oh, he got stuck.
He always wanted a limousine, so when he got those first NFL checks, he bought one. However, he didn't have a driver, so he was his own chauffeur for a while. Of course, Edger went on to be a very successful businessman as well as an NFL player, so I'm sure he can afford a driver these days, guys.
False start. Offense.
False start. David Siegel, our referee.
Oh, and the family's a good family. That's good to see.
So after the false start, back to a 3rd and 7. Scroggins trying the near sideline, and it's well over the head of Casey Hawthorne. Jadon Green. Lefty Poop more of a line drive. Rosenblatt. They're set it down. Scarlet Knights leading 7-0 on a 52-yard Eric Rogers interception return. They rode that for a while. Monangai got the carry. He picks up about 2 yards. Back to Monangai. Squirts through the line. Cuts to the outside. Rutgers was lacking times last year. Explosive plays. They've had a few here in the early going. Nice cut. Damier Miller with his first catch in a Rutgers uniform. With a guy who wants to start him fresh, there's a chance for him to have that way up.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's on the same page with the coordinator. That makes a big difference.
Oh, what a block by Monangai.
Great job by Monangai. He protects things. He sees things. Just outstanding.
He's only 26 yards on the ground away from 2,000 in his career here at Rutgers. Right, the left side, nothing there. 3rd down and 10 for the Scarlet Knights. Galiak Manis, 2 of 5, but he's had a drop here in the early going as well. He throws over the middle. It's snagged out of the air for a 1st down. Switched over for the bowl prep. He's got the athleticism. They say they love that he's starting to get it. This tight end group coming into the night, 5 career catches among all of them.
Oh, nice throw.
Complete, broken up by Robert Jones III.
Missed that.
On 2nd and 10, Galiak Manis keeps it for the 1st time and ahead of steam. Maybe 4 down territory here for the Scarlet Knights on 3rd and 1 at the Howard 35. You don't need 2 more plays. You got the 1st down with Monangai.
You got people at the line of scrimmage. See what they do.
Different running back, Samuel Brown, his 1st carry of the year. He bounces off some tacklers for 4 yards. He's been dealing with a ton of injuries. Back to Brown, chased down from behind. Kyle Davis. Young guy back in here on this 3rd down and 4. The 12th play of the drive is a handoff to Monangai, and Gallup came off the edge, and he's short.
Yeah, Kenny Gallup's smart. He's really smart. He kept it tight, nice and tight too. Came off the edge and then shut down. Nice. That's a good football player and a good play. They're bringing the safety down. Oh, they bring blitz.
Did bring the blitz, and it got in the backfield. For the 3rd drive for Howard, and it's back to the ground. And there are bodies in the backfield. With the torn ACL to Mohamed Toure, and Irene Powell will be back at some point, but not yet. Scroggins wasn't sure where to go when he out in the open space. Scroggins won the battle, and he has moved the offense tonight. Solid tackle in the backfield. Scroggins back to the air. Found Isaiah Williams. So Green on to punt it away. Ooh, almost got there.
That's a shankadelic.
No question. Rosenblatt lets it bounce, and it checks up. The 10-2 of the top 3 teams with Nebraska and Wisconsin, both right there behind Texas. Here on the opener, the new era of the Big Ten with 18 teams spanning coast to coast. Rutgers leading Howard 7-0 on a defensive touchdown. First winning record since 2014. Expectations certainly high, but you got to take care of the first one to worry about the next one. Hand off to Brown, and he's upcut. Over the middle, and it's broken up. Anderson angles it again. Fair catch called for and made at the 14 of college football, but won their conference each of the last 2 years. They brought a lot of good players back. That running back who is stuck at the 15-yard line.
Jabome's playing really well here in the 1st half.
Scroggins can't get away. It's Jabome again. You know, you don't get the chance to be on the field as much. He had 15 tackles last year. He's got 7 tonight. Scroggins into traffic with the screen. And it's Jabome bringing down James short of the 20. It'll set up 4th down. 6'2", 240-pound junior out of Quebec. Trying to punt it away. A wobbly boot, and Rosenblatt's going to let it bounce on the turf.
Well, they're on the right track. They definitely are that. It's an improved football team.
Monangai cuts it to the outside, and in space. Monangai gets a block, and he's tripped up inside the 20-yard line. The receiver stays on the field. He's at the bottom of your screen. Fresh set of downs. Monangai's driven back to go over 2,000 rushing yards. Fantastic career that he's adding on to. On the mark, inside the 10, and Dymere Miller down to the turf.
Has to have power right here. You got to win this push.
Everyone pushing, including Monangai from behind, and they're still pushing. Over there on the side, he looked like that the official from the far sideline came in and where he was going to be a first down. Howard's players are putting their four fingers up, but no, it is in fact a first down.
So this is what you want. It's all about leverage. Low man wins, right? That's football. Kaliak Manis is able to pick up that first down, sets up first and goal.
Scarlet Knights have scored a touchdown on the defense. The offense trying to get on the board for the first time this season. Keeping the play clock. It's down to 2. What a move by Monangai. He's working his way to the goal line. And he's just short at the 1.
Outstanding run.
Well, it's the yards after contact that always gets you, too. He gets the ball again. He bounces off of 1 and cannot get there. Kaliak Manis to the air. Has Dymere Miller trying to get to the end zone. Touchdown, Scarlet Knights. The FCS All-American with his first touchdown for Rutgers.
It was his second effort that got it. Nice job.
He led the FCS last year in receiving yards, was number 2 in receptions. And he puts the Scarlet Knights offense on the board for the first time. Patel adds the extra point.
He's been pretty darn good here tonight. Not spectacular, but accurate, and that's all you need.
Comes short of the goal line. It's the freshman Reagan coming out and will not get back out to the 25. They were lining up with a wildcat, Casey Hawthorne, but flags blow this dead early.
Ball start. Offense, number 50. 5-yard penalty. First down.
In the first half, and Matt Scroggins with his legs, who's now back on the field, has been most of it. Pick up the penalty yards with a 5-yard run. He's working inside with Jabome as the 2 linebackers. And they're all blocked into the backfield. Scroggins back to the air, trying to get outside the pocket. He's got Hamilton giving chase. What a grab!
Great catch.
Isaiah Williams.
This is really well done. So he has the guys underneath. He's going to take a shot down the field.
2:35 to go here. Quarter number 2. Scroggins taking a shot, looking for Williams.
Flag.
Personal foul. Right from the passer. Defense, number 71. 15-yard penalty.
Either way here, 15 yards. Scroggins keeps it himself on a 2nd and 5. And the handoff to the receiver. It's Isaiah Williams trying to get the first. Gives it to James, has the big hole. Eden James through the secondary and down at the 11-yard line. Well, if you're Howard Jr. thinking strategy, the Bison still have 2 timeouts left. You get the ball to start the 3rd quarter. Scroggins with his legs inside the 5. Scroggins kept it himself, and he's hit off the edge.
To the outside and then come back to the inside. Here he goes.
Gives it to Eden James, up the middle.
They just
touchdown, Howard.
They just powered it in.
And Howard had 44 yards of offense on the first 4 drives. 78 yards on that drive. The kick is up and through for Dylan West. That's with a short kickoff. It's fielded by the up man, tight end. Handed off to Monangai as a whole. The first down, and a late flag comes in from the near sideline.
Holding. Offense, number 69. 10-yard penalty. Repeat. First down.
And it's
he's got a chance.
And he's through the hole. That might change the strategy as he's shoved out of bounds right around midfield.
Ooh, a flag's dropped, and Monangai's got somebody in his face talking to him.
Oh, man, it looked like he was hit late, and then you had the jawing, remember, inside of 2 minutes because of first down. Like the old college football, the clock will stop. To move the chains, Kaliakmanis trying to go to the air, has an open receiver, and Miller's inside the 20 with a first down.
And they got to hurry it up. And they're gonna clock it. They're back to the line of scrimmage, waiting on the official.
Clock stops for the first down, and they do clock it with 11 seconds. Howard showing blitz. Here they come. Kaliakmanis, and he got rid of it. Yep. He wanted to get rid of that football. 15 of 18 last year with a 36-yard field goal attempt. It is up and good. Jack Scullione to kick it away again. Anthony Reagan's going to let it go into the end zone, and this will come out to the 25-yard line. He takes over for a 4-year starter in Quentin Williams, who had been the quarterback for Larry Scott in his entire career coaching at Howard. Turn the table, and here they are handing the ball off with a solid hole. Jared Hunter on his first carry of the second half takes it out past the 40 on a 16-yard run.
He's got to put it on his hip. Actually, he's got to get it in deeper than that.
Hawkins to the air, across his body. Nice ball, Casey Hawthorne, and then their best receiver, Casey Hawthorne. Neither of them able to do anything in the first half. Back in the belly of Scott, and he's back in the arms of Jabome.
Yep.
Third and long, an empty set. Scroggins trying to use his legs. Got past Malcolm Ray, but Kaj Sanders makes the stop.
Ride that back, get to the edge.
A massive play here early in the third quarter. They bring a blitz. Scroggins backpedaling and backpedaling. It's caught, but a beautiful play in the secondary.
Although you got to credit on the other side, you know. Howard's done a nice job offensively.
They have come up with some big plays, including that fourth down stop. The fake, the throw, and Fletcher is chopped down in open field. To Monangai, trying the middle. He breaks to the outside and almost sprung that for a first down.
Bounced it to the outside. It's going to set up this third and about a yard and a half, maybe. They're going hurry-up offense. See what they do before they can line up. Gallup is getting everybody set on the other side of the ball.
Gives it to Monangai again. Gallup met him in the hole. They use those replay at the U.S. Open where you go, ooh.
That's the first.
Right there. As the left side with Monangai. Keeps those legs churning. He's still running. On a night where he became the 16th player in Rutgers history to top 2,000 for a career on the ground. Back to Monangai again. And a big hole. Monangai maneuvering through the secondary. Rutgers 40 yards on this drive. 36 of those with the legs of Monangai. Kaliakmanis to the air. Nice fake. Kenny Fletcher snuck out of there. Reaching for the pylon, and he's out of bounds inside the 5.
Making a bunch of mistakes. Let's take a look right there. He's out.
Maybe the.
Yep.
Monangai is 7 yards away from tying a single-game career high. They're just outside the 7-yard line. Kaliakmanis throws it to Monangai, and he's brought down in open space. Carson Hinton with a nice tackle, and he's still down. And he's calling immediately for the training staff.
You can see they're checking his range of motion right now. Looks like he's pretty good.
Go out of the timeout, 2nd and goal. The give, up the middle, the cut, the touchdown! Kyle Monangai into the end zone! And Monangai capped off an 8-play drive. He put together a lot on his own. Patel's extra point is up and through. In the last couple of drives, Matt, they have started to put together 120 yards and a couple of scores. Squib, and it is recovered by Howard. 4 different players jump on it. Number 21, he's in that picture too. They think their running back group is very deep here this season. And a flag flies. Don't think they got that off.
Number 1, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Well, you were there last year when Howard went to Northwestern, man, to get Northwestern at the beginning of the season. And when they finished the year 8-5, very different ball club.
Absolutely.
But Howard trailed by 16 points and came back. Only lost by 3. Scroggins dumped it off to Ilaraza. Nick Benosin on the tackle along with Moses Walker. But they're going to need to get going a little bit faster here to get back in this ballgame.
Yeah, they're going to have to pick the pace up. You know, I said this earlier, and I'll repeat myself. This is a very, very well-coached football team. They understand situations. They understand, you know, all the down and distance, all that kind of stuff there. This is just a good football team and well coached. So I don't think they're going to have to worry too much going forward in the season.
They've certainly shown that they've got something with Scroggins, who's taking a deep shot for his own tight end, and it's incomplete. Great coverage. Kaj Sanders, the true freshman out of Bergen Catholic. They do certainly flash. They think has a massive future. On 3rd and long, Rutgers brings a blitz. Scroggins to the air, and miscommunication with Hawthorne.
Yeah, that was a mess up. Somebody messed up a route right there.
So the Scarlet Knights, the touchdown, and then a quick 3 and out, and they go to the sideline. Dremel back deep to receive again for Rutgers. Hasn't really had a chance yet to get his hands on one tonight. Rutgers almost got there. Dremel calls for the fair catch at the 42-yard line. It takes time for an offensive line to gel, right? Because everything has to be in unison.
Yeah, absolutely.
Howard comes with a blitz. Kaliak Manis with pressure off his back foot. He had an open Miller. Howard looks like it's bringing pressure again. Hand off to Samuel Brown, who bounces off the tackler. Gets forward maybe for an extra yard.
It'd be nice to see Sam Brown get into some kind of rhythm here and start to get moving. Another outstanding player. He has the ability for big plays. He's got good speed. He's got toughness. Kind of runs a little high sometimes, but when he has to, he lowers his shoulders pretty good.
And also 2 different running styles, right? So that changes things for the defense too. They're down at 6. Scarlet Knights tonight, 5 of 8 on 3rd down. To the ground. Brown cut the hole, and he's right there at the marker. Maybe a half-yard short.
Yeah, he's short. Yeah, so what do you do here? I would trust my defense, and I'd try to go for it. Just bury him.
Go for it here on 4th and inches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now here comes some big bodies.
Which is what they're doing. Extra offensive linemen onto the field. Taj White, Dante Chin, 2 extra bodies for the push. They need almost a full yard on 4th down. They push Kaliak Manis, and it looks like he's got the spot. You know, Matt, so much attention paid to that play, right, in the NFL and this offseason, whether or not they would outlaw that play. They haven't. What do you think? Which is obviously a big part all over football now.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of the game now. This is what it is. And every now and then, they don't get it. But for the most part, low man wins, and you just Just keep on pushing. Don't stop.
Yeah. Made famous so far by now Big Ten team USC in the Bush Push.
Yeah, absolutely.
A fresh set of downs here. We dip inside of 5 minutes in the third quarter. Miller could not hang on to the football.
Second drop of the night. Not his, but the second drop of the night. What I really like, though, the difference in this offense right now from a year ago is the quarterback spot. So he's giving him a chance, right? That should have been caught. He dropped that ball. But he's giving everybody a chance because the balls were supposed to be. He's been accurate. And if he can be consistently accurate, he's going to make a huge difference in this offense.
Keeps it on the rollout. He's going to keep it himself. Kaliak-Manis has the first down, and that's the other part, right? The quarterback run game was, because the pass game was tough, last year was so important from that position.
Right.
It's secondary for him, but it's still a weapon.
Absolutely. And look, he's just like, all right, you're not going to tackle me? I'll just run. That's just a good decision.
First down for Rutgers, downstairs to Tarrant.
Well, and Kirk Shiraka was so sure that Ethan Kaliak-Manis was Rutgers' man that when he saw he entered the transfer portal, he said he gave Ethan a call and told him, I'm going to fly out to see you tomorrow. I want to talk to you face to face. He met with Ethan and his brother Dino over breakfast the very next day and said that he urged him, you got to come to Rutgers, you got to come join us. I asked Shiraka how confident he was after that conversation that he would end up a Scarlet Knight, and he said, I was very confident. We had to let him go explore his options, make the right decision for him, but I was pretty sure that he would land with us. And Shiraka also added there are times during camp where he's gone to sleep at night with a smile on his face, content that Rutgers got the right guys.
Well, and the coordination between the two. He recruited him at Minnesota. Kirk Shiraka came back to Minnesota after the stint at Penn State before coming here to Rutgers. In the new era of college football, it always comes back around as Samuel Brown gets the handoff and enough for the first down. But especially now, Matt, too, because coaches can talk to the quarterback on the field before the play until the play clock goes to 15 seconds. That's new in college football this year. That communication between coordinator and quarterback is so important.
Yeah, and you have to be on the same page. And we mentioned this at the start of the show. They are on the same page. He coached him up at Minnesota. He knows what he's about. He understands his strengths. He understands his weaknesses. Coach Shiraka's done a really nice job with him, and you can see he's still developing. This is a huge difference for this Rutgers team.
To the end zone.
Back shoulder.
Trying to play Chris Long, the intended receiver. We've called Robert Jones III's name a lot in coverage, and he was the defender.
He stayed to the top side. Coach Shiano's not very happy with that. He's going to get a flag. Yeah, you're going to see he's on the top. Didn't let him play.
Right.
He did have him, but
And to your point, the flag was thrown on the sideline.
Right.
Conduct. Rutgers head coach, 15-yard penalty. Second down.
He's giving him an earful over there on the sideline. And remember, Matt, 2 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties is an ejection.
Yeah. He understands what he's doing. Griggs in control.
Now with the penalty, though, much farther for Kaliak-Manis, who dumps it short. Nice grab. Brown in open space. Nobody's there. Samuel Brown, touchdown. That might ease some of the tension.
I can tell you this right now. This is a better offense because of one person. Kaliak-Manis. Kaliak-Manis makes the throws when he has to.
There was a late hit out of bounds. Rutgers kicked a field goal, and ever since then, the offense has been unstoppable. Kevin Wimpson had not transferred until after spring practice when Nathan Kaliakmanis won the job. Nice first down run for Jarrett Hunter. Yet to really get going here in this ballgame. Just his 7th carry, he's picked up 24 yards. He is the MEAC preseason Offensive Player of the Year and the head of a two-headed backfield with Jay-Sean Scroggins. Trying to pick his way through, and there's just no space. Igbenosin's on top of the pile. Down there on the bottom of it, Keyshawn Griffin.
Yeah, nice job by that defensive front to hold up that offensive line, give them nowhere to go.
And remember, Tarrant pointed out to start this game, the defense missing some key parts. Not just Moture, who's out for the year, but tonight playing without Wesley Bailey up front, and Troy Rainey as well. Tyree Powell working his way back from the torn Achilles in February. Getting close, but not playing tonight. Outstarting safety Flip Dixon. On 3rd and short, open receiver. Hawthorne's got the first down. Picks up an extra few yards out across the 40-yard line.
Yeah, they ran across the run, double cross. Generally what ends up happening, you end up wanting to try to take the first guy, and you do. You jump that, and the second guy comes clean. Here comes inside. And they ran a crossing route as well on top of that with the Y.
Might have been the first missed tackle that DJ Jabome has had to. He has been all over the field. Another chunk for Hunter on first down.
I'll tell you this, I know Coach Schiano and how he is. He is not going to be pleased with the way they're moving the football.
Tried to go quick and an incomplete pass. They tried to find Ilaraza as they were moving fast with 27 seconds to go in the 3rd. But to your point, Matt, they've done a great job in the passing game. Howard has 72 yards passing. But on the ground tonight, the Bison over 130. I missed maybe the other spot too. Howard tonight 50% on 3rd down, 6 of 12. Well, they're holding Scroggins because they had some late changes. They finally back out. Quarterback keeps it himself. Cannot get away from the tackle. Bo Masco, the redshirt freshman corner, who they have high hopes for here this season with an open field tackle.
This isn't easy to do. You get out there all by yourself, it's one-on-one, you better make the play, and he does.
Which will take us, Matt, to the end of the 3rd quarter. It is 4th down near midfield. But as we start the 4th, it's a 4th down for Howard, and they need 3 yards. Scroggins off his back foot, open man, and it's a first down and more. Jared Hunter, and he's drilled right on the sideline. Done a lot more with his legs than with his arms, but he's gonna have to throw here in the 4th. And there he takes off with his legs, trying to get away from Nick Benosin. Just got enough of him, but he had enough speed and the corner, Matt, to pick up 10 yards and a first down.
Picked up the first.
76 yards on the ground tonight for Jay-Sean Scroggins. Howard trying to stay in this ball game. To the air, to the end zone, and it's broken up and incomplete. Greg Schiano said leading into this game this week, they're going to see some faces here people aren't familiar with, and he's certainly one of them. Nice patience into the hole by Hunter along their offensive line, and then obviously the quarterback. Into the hole, maybe a yard shy. They picked one up to start this 4th quarter to keep this drive alive. Hunter keeps it, he's met at the line, and it's gonna be close.
It looks like it's short.
And I don't think he got it. It's Rutgers football on a 4th down stand. Kaliakmanis' debut here for Rutgers, a good one. His former team, Minnesota, about to kick it off with North Carolina, plus that Illinois game. It's all coming up tonight here on Big Ten Network. Solid patience again for Samuel Brown, and freshman from Montreal who played in Florida last year. We'll see if we see him tonight or not. Brown bursts through the hole, and he's got a 1st down. Gallup on the tackle.
Their explosiveness is pretty similar, so I don't have to change much. And if anything, Sam plays a big role in helping Kyle in that now that he's healthy, he can give him a little bit of a reprieve from time to time. They don't have to keep running Kyle out there when they know Sam is healthy and more than capable nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, they're a better team when they have 2, and you're a better team more when you have 3. So they'll do exactly what they need to do with it.
They got the play off before the play clock hit 0. So Greg Schiano took a timeout. 11:30 Eastern kick out at USC following a World Series later this season. But certainly when people have talked about their struggles with Penn State, Michigan, and Ohio State, Kaliakmanis taken off. Washington with a whole new group after Kayla DeBoer left for Alabama, but Jed Fish did a great job turning around Arizona. Solid throw. Kaliakmanis right around 60% tonight completion on the night. Remember, he was 53% last year. Samuel Brown chopped down, but he's got the 1st down.
And this is their first time out of the box, too.
He finds Konopka. And one of those other tight ends takes another 1st down. Approaching 400 yards of offense here against the defending MEAC champs from a year ago. Again, Brown carrying some defenders for another 6 yards. On your side of the field to wear down the other team, end the ball game on a lengthy drive, and they are trying to do that, and they are succeeding in it as well. Kaliakmanis kept it himself. Takes a hit. Jabari Knighton on the edge. Maybe here in the last 6 minutes, that's not what you want to see your quarterback do.
How about it? Well, this is his read, though, right? You're going to bite hard down on Brown, and you're just going to pull that thing and take it. That's what you're supposed to do. And that's what he does.
No, it's a running play.
Transfer from Minnesota. They've talked about his leadership. Voted team captain. He's trying to ice. That'll be his first victory in a Rutgers uniform. Brown's total starting to get up there as well. He's getting close to 60 yards on the ground, spelling the career night for Kyle Monangai.
Yeah, it's good to see him back. He's a big, powerful kid. Like you said, kind of a little bit different style, but he's one of those guys who's a power guy. He's just going to keep on pounding. You pound it with him, and he gets stronger as the day goes on. Monangai's the same way.
Monangai last year, nearly 40% of his yards, Matt, came in the 4th quarter. Pounding with Brown again, with the cutback, trying to keep the legs going. And he turns it inside the 3-yard line. And his teammate Kyle Monangai had to watch him go through that. Brown's got one through the air. Kaliakmanis back to the air. Touchdown, Kenny Fletcher. His first career receiving touchdown. And it's going to ice this one against Howard. That's the other part. Last year, the struggle to find those playmakers on the outside and get the ball to those guys. That might be a little bit better here in 2024.
Yeah, they're off to a good start, obviously, but still got a lot of work to do. And then throw in a little bit of the passing game, and you get 38-7.
A squib kick that's bouncing towards the sideline, but Howard picks it up and then steps out of bounds. But Massive weekend here on Big Ten Network to get going in this new season and this new era. Conference realignment, 12-team college football playoff, it's all out there. Now all gets going. Izzy Hawthorne, the Wildcat quarterback, hasn't gotten as many snaps back there tonight. Couple.
Yeah, you know what? Larry Scott is going to have this team playing well by the end of the season. They'll be right back in that MEAC championship game. This is a good football team. They don't quite have enough bullets in the gun right now, but that's a good coach. This is a good team, and they'll do well.
I don't know why, Matt, that clock was stopped for about 15 seconds. The clock was stuck on 4:08 for a while. I don't know if anyone saw it. Got it back up and running, and Aaron Lewis has the running back in his grasp.
Nice job by Lewis. He did a good job holding to the outside, and then just be patient, right? You control your man at the line of scrimmage, and then when he makes his move, you disengage and make the play. It's well done.
Well, you talked about some of the things they'll have to clean up for next week when Rutgers takes on Akron. The ground game certainly something they'll have concern about. Different offensive style when they face the Zips and Joe Moorhead next week, former Penn State offensive coordinator, head coach there at Akron. They'll be happy with some of the fresh faces. Kaj Sanders, DJ Jabome. Long throw, too long. And it's incomplete. Solid coverage from Zylan Williams, the redshirt sophomore. And Howard has fourth down coming up.
The back end for Rutgers tonight, they had a bevy of guys who really played some good coverage. The safeties have done well. The corners have done well. Every time they've tried to throw the ball, it's been tight coverage. I've been impressed with that tonight. The one thing they don't have and didn't show tonight has been a pass rush.
No sacks tonight by either team.
A consistent pass rush.
Kristen Dremel hasn't really had a chance at a return yet. He's got a lot of space. And he picks up about 17 yards on the line drive punt. 3:02 to go in the opener. Why special teams have been so big here. His first tenure and his second. New quarterback in on the night, Johnny Shepard with another handoff. And there's the freshman, Antoine Raymond, who almost took his first career carry to the house.
Another one, just like the others. He's got some good balance. He can burst. He's just runs through tackles. Look at him. They all hold the ball the same way. They all look the same. That's a
Oh, and he got it again.
Tackled himself.
Yeah, the 21-yard line got it. Now, Johnny Shepard, the sophomore from the Bronx, played one game last year. Threw a couple of passes. That was against Wagner, so last year against an FCS opponent, tonight get some of that work as well. All right, Dave Howard, thank you very much. Yeah, that 165 yards for Kyle Monangai was finished early in the third quarter. We have not seen him since Rutgers jumped out to that 31-7 lead. It's been Samuel Brown, and now the freshman Antoine Raymond. But, Matt, you've been talking about that offensive line all night, and they're about to hit 300 yards rushing against Howard.
Yeah, and you can see the difference, and you can see the work that they put into it. They're coming off the ball low. They're driving guys off. A couple of times they had the defensive front. Now, I understand it's not the same division, but they pushed him back 5-6 yards to get some room in there in that run game. So they're off to a good start.
The keep by Shepard. It'll set up about a yard shy here as we're going to go inside of a minute. Now a timeout taken. I take that back. Howard takes a timeout here with 1:17 to go.
Charge timeout. Howard.
With a fourth down coming up. Raymond tripped in the backfield, and he had pressure anyway.
I think they need to let the quarterback let him go a little bit. They want to open this offense up, and I think we'll see that coming down the line. And I think that's a difference. I've said it a bunch of times tonight, and I'm repeating myself, but as I watch this team, the difference in this team as opposed to just a year ago was the play of the quarterback. Monangai was Monangai a year ago, and he's him again this year.
Scroggins dumped it short. Reagan couldn't handle it. I think I won't look back on this one when it's all said and done, Matt, as the years gets going. Or was this the night where they started to get it going? There's the first sack. Jordan Walker got into the backfield to give Rutgers its first sack of the season. And Howard's going to take one more timeout.
Yeah, this is just, he held on to the ball too long, and he's able to get him from the backside. Nicely done.
And the Fighting Illini getting their season underway. On third down, Scroggins got out of there. He's got Williams. They led the Bison to back-to-back MEAC titles. Scroggins to the side. Another great effort. Williams can't bring it in. And a turnover on downs, Matt, and Rutgers. They give to Raymond. One last play on the night. He cuts it to the outside and breaks tackles. And they're going to have one more play on the night as he's out of bounds with 7 seconds to go. And he doesn't want to give the ball to anybody.
That's good ball security right there.
It's one of those situations where you wonder if fumbling was an issue and they make you carry it around campus. Now, classes haven't started here yet, so he doesn't have to take it to biology. Now the Scarlet Knights, more than 300 yards on the ground. Raymond bursting through the hole. Not wanting to go down. And he doesn't. Raymond's first career touchdown puts triple zeros on the clock. And the icer here tonight in the opener. 44-7 the final here at SHI Stadium. For Matt Millen and Taryn Hatcher, I'm Jason Horwitz. Scarlet Knights move to 1-0.
All right, Coach, I know you were missing a lot of bodies, some leadership on the defensive side of the ball due to injury today, but your team able to open the season on a massive win. What did you like about this one?
Well, they chopped through it. It certainly wasn't an easy win. It's one where they had to chop and earn it and do the little things, but proud of our guys. They stepped up and did it. Now we move on.
Talking about guys who stepped up on the defensive side of the ball, DJ Jabome, 14 tackles in this game. Last season, he had 13 total. What impressed you the most about what he was able to do?
Well, you hit on the head. He was very productive. He was very physical. Really proud of the way he played. Ran the defense for us. And, you know, with Mo Toure and Tyreen Powell out, he stepped up and did exactly what we thought he would.
Well, Coach, thank you for the time, and congratulations on your first win of the season.
Yeah, thank you.